I want to get to know you as a person and also hear about your career, because you're in the most intense kind of aspect of medicine. And actually, I wanted to start there. I wanted to know, why would you choose the most intense aspect of medicine?
Yeah, Sil. So first of all, thanks for this kind introduction and thanks for having me here. And I think the reason I'm here because I love my job. And although it's intense, it's probably the intense satisfaction that you get from this job. To be honest, if I start back when I had kind of hit that road where I need to kind of make my choice where I'm going or heading, initially I did my anesthesia as my first primary specialty. And that mainly because the anesthesia gives you a solid foundation for any critical care, and it helps you to understand and deal the body in terms of physiology and understand how body responds in the critical situations. But then the reason I chose to switch between anesthesia to intensive care was that longitudinal care aspect of the patient journey. And ICU is such a rewarding specialty in terms of most of the patients, when they come to emergency department, they are quite unwell, or even they are in hospital, they are quite unwell. They come to intensive care, and it's just not the patient, but also their family and loved one who go through that experience. And it's almost like a journey where we are quite fortunate and privileged to be part of that journey. And sometimes it's not about saving the life, but also about providing the good end of life care. So in ICU, we do get a lot of action like resuscitation, doing ECMOs, doing critical mechanical ventilation and resuscitation aspects, but also we get equally empathetic and compassionate care, and not only look after the patient, but also their family and loved one, and helping them through that journey is a most rewarding experience.
It's such a good point. Like, the more intense the medicine, the more intense the reward, in a way.
Yeah.
And it's so nice to hear about, like, I can imagine maybe historically intensive care was all about keeping people alive, but there's a maturity with society now around death and the importance of palliative care, and it must be really challenging to make some of these decisions. Actually, one of the questions that was sent in, Swapnil, was about how you deal with all the death that you see on a day-to-day basis. Like, that has an impact on you, I'm sure. What do you do to kind of manage that?
Yeah, I think it's a really good question. I guess as any other specialty, as you train for a number of years and you have this kind of profound experiences early in your career, you kind of learn your own way to deal with each of those experiences, and you also mature through those experiences. And I guess this whole philosophy around we are here to help them in their journey and not to change their destiny. And I guess that always helped me to see my way through this specialty. And I guess having the good colleagues around you, having family members around you where we can go back and debrief about these experiences. And ICU is such a great team environment where you work as a team, you share your experience as a team, and then debrief with each other, and then that helps you to get through even the days tough, days rough. You kind of get through. So dealing with the death, it becomes quite intense experience, but at the same time, it can be rewarding because you are providing a good palliative care. One of the also aspect of intensive care is about thinking about the organ donation aspects, and sometimes obviously this is quite a significant loss for one family, but can be also another opportunity for another critically ill patient who is waiting for organs. So I guess intensive care is kind of that bridge where it kind of facilitates that transition around or that journey around the death. So I guess it's over the period of time, as you understand intensive care more and you try to help people in that kind of journey, it becomes much easy to deal with experience at your individual level. And I guess to some extent you dissociate yourself from being, you are not the causative factor of it. You are more about facilitating the outcome in a much better way in that kind of moment. So I think that's kind of the way I look at the death and dying experience.
It's probably necessary to a point to kind of dissociate yourself to an extent, while keeping the empathy and connection and support, to at least be able to, not let it hit you the same way it would be if it was your partner or your family member.
Yeah.
Because you just can't give everyone that level of empathy, because if not, you wouldn't survive.
Yeah.